What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Course Cafe. I'd like to announce that my streak has officially been broken. For the first time ever, a legit fight on the golf course. It happened at the end of a 6-hour-long 4-man scramble. Over the weekend, 8 individuals on a single tee box. Took literally 6 hours. I haven't done a scramble in years, and this is one of the reasons why. 6-hour round of golf is just way too long. I was sitting in my golf cart. Next thing you know, I hear, no. Turn around, and these two dudes are absolutely scrapping. It's for as long as I've been golfing, I've never actually seen a fight on the golf course. Plenty of it in social media, but to see it in real life was exactly what you see in social media, something that makes no sense, that was also hilarious at the same time. But on this week, we have Tisha Alyn on the mic. Whether you've seen her dancing or trick shots at Topgolf, public speaker, at the Creator Classic, she's all over the place. She's made her own lane in golf. The thing that I love about this girl's story is that she is not just about going viral, it's about the grind, the heartbreak, and all the wins that go into building something real, whether it's on social or on the course or through her brand, All In Golf. We get into the balance of living online, pressure of being seen, and how she's pushing women's golf forward with fresh design and color stories. Most of all, we talk about what it actually takes to put yourself out there and build something that lasts. Let's get into it. Well, I think just to get it started, you first got on my radar through the Topgolf content where you guys are sliding clubs around and smashing the driver. How did that start? Like, did somebody else see somebody do that? And the next thing you know, everybody was kind of playing copycat?
It's the wildest thing. I mean, I had seen iterations of it done. And so this was like, oh my goodness, I don't know, back in 2021 now or 22. Wow, I feel like I sound like
It was a while
right
ago.
now.
Yeah.
It was a while ago. And I think I had seen it done in some capacity. And I was like, I wonder if I could do that. And I wonder if I could do it with my own flair. And so that's what had happened. And I did it at a Topgolf. I had seen is it Abraham Answer? He did that to his caddy. He slid the driver. And that's how I actually first saw it. And this was years ago, back when he was still on the PGA Tour, obviously. And we did that at the Topgolf. I was always kind of romping around in my little wedges and heels. It popped off. It popped off, especially on TikTok. It popped off a little too hard that I started getting tagged in everyone doing it, a lot of women doing it. I started getting tagged in fails of it being done, clubs flying off the deck and clubs flying out of people's hands. And I was like, oh, this might be a problem. But
That's hilarious.
It just became like this trend and people started dubbing me as if I started it. And I don't want to say I started it. Maybe I was the first to do it at Topgolf, or maybe the first girl, if anything. But I mean, I feel like I see like Snappy Gilmore and like good, like they do it too. I can't say who's first. I just see what I see and then go from there. But Abraham was kind of where it came from, and I was like, oh, that looks so dope. Can I do that?
That's so funny because when I do go to Topgolf, I check all the drivers, and you can tell that people are like trying to copycat it. It still is like a very real piece of content that like lives in social right now, which is hilarious.
Yeah, I get it. It's still pinned, I think, on my TikTok and I think on Instagram too, just because it's one of those things where like that's probably the moment that I actually get recognized for the most. It's like, oh, you're that girl from Topgolf. I'm like, that was like 5 years ago now, but yes, like we'll take that.
I love that. Something that you did do, this was probably like back in March, I want to say, that I wish more individuals in your lane do more often on your Instagram. That post that you had in March that's like, hey, this is who I am. This is like who Tish is behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And there's like 15 different posts because that helped me too, just get a better understanding, just again, watching your content for as long as I have. Through your eyes, like who you are as an individual was really cool. I wish more people would do that. But I think because you have lived in so many different lanes and you're seen as like the individual in the golf space, is there anything either recently or in the last couple of years that like you find a lot of joy in that's outside of golf that maybe we don't see in social as often?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question because what's hard about someone who is on social media, and I'm very much someone too that I just like live up very authentically. It's like I very much share a lot of moments outside of golf. So I think that's where it's hard for me to actually distinguish what's not seen on social because I basically share a little piece of me in every pillar of my life on there. But I think if anything, I don't know that people actually really realize how much I enjoy dancing. Like it
Mm,
has been a really, really a big part of me. I think it's a big part of my personality. I used to do it a lot more on social media, and it's just now kind of one of those things that like whether times are tough or I just heard the best news in the world, like I'll just dance it out. And it
mhm.
really is just like who I am. Like even me and my fiance will just literally we'll play Alexa and then we just start dancing. It's just kind of like literally what you come into when you come into our home. It's very much a big part of my life. I think just as big as golf is, honestly.
That's awesome. No, that was something that I honestly had no idea. And then I
Yeah.
saw the clips and I was like, good Lord, like she could actually dance. Like this
Yeah.
is not just a little fun thing that she's doing on the side.
That's funny.
Um,
Yeah.
to that point, like, is there, because you've also done like the professional side of it where you were trying to like
Mhm.
chase your dreams through that lane, and then now
Yeah.
that you've been in the social world for as long as you have, like which one do you think is more competitive? Because the space has
Mm.
grown so much and so many people have
Yeah.
jumped into it. Going back to like that time when you were chasing the dream of professional golf to
Right.
where you are now, like which lane do you think is more competitive?
Oh, that's tough because I mean, I will never discredit the difficulty of becoming a professional athlete in whatever sport that you do. And I think in women's golf, like it has always been a very difficult road because the prize and the purses weren't quite there yet. I think it's very
Hmm.
different now. I think in that right, I would still say that women's professional golf is difficult because we're not there. We're not there yet. Like women's sports is popping off and there is more money to be made now, which is amazing. But that's just what you're kind of seeing like on the LPGA tour. This doesn't actually account for the Epson tour and the developmental
Hmm.
tours. Like you're still fighting for your life. Like it takes a lot to be a professional golfer to make it to the kind of golfer you see on TV. Same for men. And and I think that the grind, you're only able to grind in as a professional golfer for as long as you can afford it.
Hmm.
And if you cannot afford it and you don't have an option, then your career ends. And that's really how a
Hmm.
lot of our careers ended. And the whole point that the reason why I even got into social media was to show off my professional golf ability. I really believed way back when, 2016, if someone who maybe is a sponsor who sees my results and sees my swing, sees me from, I don't care, miles away, states away, but they believe in me, that's something that I can use as an advantage. And that was always my thought process in the beginning of social media. And then it just kind of took over. And now social media is very competitive. It is oversaturated. Maybe I can't say, or maybe other people can disagree with me, but I've also have been in the social media space from a very early start. So
Hmm.
I kind of have my seat at the table, I hope I could say. And so anyone coming in may say, no, it's just as hard. But to me, like the grind of professional golf is just a different commitment. And I think it's the reason why I'm so like detailed and very driven is because my professional athlete mentality still maintains even in social media. Like I'm very cutthroat behind the scenes. Like I'm a fun
Hmm.
person, like that all those things are very real, but like I'm always trying to sharpen my tools. And whether
Hmm.
that's speaking, podcasting, the brand, there's always things I can do better. And so everything I've done in pro golf, I bring it to social media as well.
No, I love that. Like your mindset, having the clarity around attacking it the same way that you did sports. Do you think that came from your desire to also get a scholarship too? Because I played college football, and the
Oh, no
very
way.
reality of like your tape is going to be seen by somebody, but the tape still
Mhm.
has to exist.
Yeah.
Like, do you think there was some parallel between you just trying to get to the next level from a high
Mhm.
school athlete to college, and then that translated to like, well, it worked then, maybe it'll work now type of vibe?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that when it comes to like being a professional, I mean, whether it's high school to college, college to professional, like I think that you only want to sharpen your craft as you go. And so for me, that's kind of how I've just grown into that and only have like developed a sharper mindset within that athlete mindset, if that makes sense.
No, I totally vibe with that. That was something that, again, when because I was the oldest of three, so I was the
Mm.
first one to go through like the college recruiting
Yeah.
experience. And I mean, this is, I graduated in high school in 2008. So I think I'm like
Hmm.
just a few years older than you. So
Hmm.
like the internet was still very young. A lot of the tools, the platforms, social media didn't really exist to that capacity. So it was
Right.
very raw, but film
Yeah.
still mattered and relationships still
Yeah.
matter, which is interesting.
Yeah. Oh
To
gosh,
that point,
I literally remember my I don't know how college recruitment videos go for football, but in golf, it was up to us. It was up to each individual athlete to come up with their recordings, to create their own resume from their junior golf career, and it began at even eighth grade. I'm like,
yep.
it's kind of crazy that you care about how I played golf in eighth grade versus junior year of high school. But I actually already had a knack for editing. It was just kind of like a weird thing. I used like whatever was the default on like the OG Apple book, like cut like iMovie cuts, and I
Yep.
actually edited my college recruitment video to the song Remember the Name,
Let's
the
go.
rap. Like, and I look back and I have never cringed. I cringe a lot at myself at my old videos, but like I don't know where that video is to this day, but the
That's
fact
so
that I
funny.
sent that out to so many colleges is really, really freaking embarrassing to the Remember the Name
No,
song.
that's
Like,
hilarious.
I'm like, who do I think I am right now? That's kind of wild. But I guess I made an impression, so we got the
I
scholarship.
My recruiting video had a Little Wayne track, and I remember like the
No
first
way.
bit of feedback that I got back, coaches was like mute it because we had to do it was like a combination of handwritten letters, email,
Yes.
and then all of our videos were on tape.
Yeah.
And you had to have a highlight reel and then a full game too. So like my
Oh
highlight reel
wow.
had the Little Wayne track, and this is back when we made, I don't know, 20 plus copies and sent it out to everybody. So
Yeah.
it wasn't like we got one bit of feedback. We couldn't go back and like grab those other 18, 19 that we had sent out. Like they were already out there. But
Right.
yeah, it's such a different world now. It's
It's so
wild.
different. I mean, you can be discovered just from literally your social media. Like that's enough to be seen. And it's like, y'all don't know the struggle of trying to, edit and cut your stuff before all these editing apps and then burn it onto a CD and
Yep.
send it to a coach. I'm like,
Real life struggles.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
very different. I mean, we're just showing our age at this point, but yes, I get the grind.
That's hilarious. So, what do you think now that you've been in the media side, speaking engagements, podcasts, obviously, like what you've done in social,
Mhm.
um, your face is everywhere. You've been a lot of different places. Like, what do you think media still gets wrong, like traditional media, with kind of like who you are and what you're doing in the space?
Like for me individually or like in general, you'd
I
say?
think with you and then in
Mhm.
general, too, of just like what's happening, especially with golf. Like, it's just changed so much in
Yeah.
the last couple of years.
I mean, I think traditional media is honestly starting to finally get it. I think it's just unfortunate that it's taken them so long. I mean, I can preach about like the power of the creator and the influencer all day. And it's something that I have been actually preaching for years to the LPGA, years to the PGA Tour. Like I was one of the first girls that the PGA Tour and LPGA tested to
Mm,
come in as like an influencer. We're convincing hardcore media to bet on us. And it was always I mean, the same elevator pitch was like, what you guys offer does not touch the fans, and you need to give fans a real fan experience. And I'm kind of someone in the middle ground where I used to play, I can talk to the girls, but I can also humanize them or humanize the players because I actually have a relationship with a lot of them now. And they just didn't want to bet on it. They didn't believe in the price. And I think now, like as you can tell with the Creator Classic and even the Live Tour with the duels, and there's I feel like there's a creator league. There's like 5 creator leagues at this rate. I'm like coming out of
hmm
retirement. I'm like, I don't know like what's going on here. And I think traditional media is just finally understanding the power of social media, the power of individual voices, and just how impactful that it can be, especially when you bring on the right talent. And that's speaking on my behalf, and I think that's speaking on like influencers in general, honestly.
hmm No, I would agree too. I think especially these last couple of years, like people are just looking for people. Like there's been a lot of
Yes.
language and consideration around brands, but again, those are still ran by individuals, but nobody has
Hmm.
like a voice. And I think that even
Yeah.
goes back to like the OG ESPN days where people
Hmm.
were falling in love with a lot of the personalities that were showing up on screen. And
Yeah.
it's kind of like transformed into specific shows now, which I think again is a little bit different. And then you're seeing like what you had mentioned, stuff in social, like the volume is just more. When you were going back to like those early days with the LPGA and the PGA Tour, were you pitching them or were they just like more so of like having conversations of what it would look like?
It was very mutual, but there were a lot of times when I felt like I was doing my own elevator pitching between me and my agent. I've been with my agent now for like 8 years, and so
Mm,
we both have a lot of the same relationships in the golf world, and it would be like I get invited to a pro-am or I get invited to an event, and it's like you should really bring me on, and I can humanize this, or I can bring a different fan experience and whatnot, and there were many times where I was paid dimes to do it or not paid at
mm,
all and just trying to prove myself for years. And a lot of creators now will never know, I think, the extent of what that was like to convince them to open the door for us. Like it
mm,
was a very different experience like in 2016, 17, 18 and be like, hey, let me into the ANA inspirational. Let me just get a few words with the girls. Don't pay me anything. Just let me in. Just give me a badge. Like, is that going to really kill you? Like, God forbid. And then there's always that stigma. There was a stigma for a long time of like players didn't always love influencers and this and that. And so I was just like, F that. Like, I'm just gonna, I'm just gonna barrel
mm,
through it. And because I care, I really do care about the growth of this game, but it has come a very long way. And like the more individuals that get to have voices and are seen, I think the more impactful it is. Like just like you said, people want to feel people. People love people. You don't fall in love with a
mm,
brand anymore. You fall in love with the story of the brand. There's a million other makeup brands. There's a million other golf club brands. There's a million of those things, but you fall in love with the story behind everything, which is exactly what
mm.
I'm trying to build with my own brand with All in Golf. And I understand that. And I think that that's something that hard media can continue to learn from, is just to continue to listen to those individual voices.
Yeah, the hesitation has always been really interesting. And I think like when the Epson tour comes like basically in my backyard, I live in the absolute sticks of Oregon. So I'm like upper
Really?
east, very small blue collar town. It's where my wife is from. But the Epson stops at Wild Horse in Pendleton, Oregon, like a beautiful
Okay. Yeah.
golf course. And that was the first time, this was years ago, that I got exposed to just like the relentlessness and like the isolation that the players had just on the Epson tour trying to get
Yeah.
and level up. And I
Yeah.
remember I was working with the course at the time, not with Epson, but I was like, hey, I really want to tell the story on how the community rallies around these girls that show up and provide like
I
food and
love
housing,
that.
like any way that they can help out
Yes.
with their situation just to
Yeah.
like be able to breathe and play freely at the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
But it was looked at as taboo because either the
Mm.
tour or the course didn't want to make it look like the girls were struggling that much. But I was like, that taboo that lives there, like that is so real. And I think people
Yeah.
again show up just because they do want to be a part of it. And it is like a very raw, real story that people
Yeah.
want to rally behind. And I think again, that is what has always been missing in golf because like
Right.
you said, we're just not having that like dialogue with these players that we don't have a
Right.
chance to like listen to their stories, their personal perspective on stuff.
So you didn't write the piece? Or you didn't
No,
do the
I couldn't.
cover?
I couldn't do anything. Yeah, I worked
Oh,
for this. I mean, we're still having conversations around it too because there is literally like I don't even know. There's hundreds of families that are in the area that
uh-huh.
house the girls. They help with their
Yes.
transportation. They
Uh-huh.
feed them and do all that stuff just to again
Hmm.
make sure that they're playing free. I was like, that's an awesome story. A, it shows like love to the course. It gives
Yeah.
a moment to like tell these girls stories. And again, why can't this be like replicated all throughout the country as like this
Right.
tour unloads? So yeah, still a work in
Wow.
progress.
Gosh, let me know when it hits. I mean, I roll because it is such a real part of the professional golf experience, especially for women. Like we survived off housing. We survived off of the help of volunteers and the members of the golf courses. Like when I was in the grind, like there were times when it was like 4 girls to 1 hotel room if there wasn't
Mm-hmm.
housing. And I think it's a very real conversation. I think it's only positive. I don't think it has to be looked at like a struggle. It's just the reality of
Mm-hmm.
developmental tour golf. It's unfortunate, but I actually, I still have relationships with some of the people that I used to house with, and same with a lot of the girls on tour. They befriend a lot of the people that have given their space up. So hopefully you get to the point of writing that, because I think it would be
Yeah.
totally worthwhile. I don't think people really realize like that part of golf. The men don't even have to really do that, So
Mm-hmm. Well, it even goes back to like when we were in college, NIL didn't exist and we were grinding too. Like
right.
there was a
Oh
lot of
God.
time when we were just eating bananas and bagels, like just trying to get by. But again, the stories that nobody tells you, your coach can't even give you a sandwich or give you a ride. You can't get a job on
Right.
campus because it's for the
Yeah.
kids. Like just a lot of that stuff doesn't exist anymore. But that only is around because people push so hard and eventually, like you said, had to write the stories and have like a microphone to be able to talk about their experiences that then blew the lid off of a lot of those
Right.
situations.
No, for sure.
Um,
Yeah.
the other question that I had was, I guess, like from a behind the scenes perspective, like, is there anything about your career they wouldn't believe unless like pieces that you haven't like shown? Because I want to
Hmm.
talk about the All In brand, but at least like
Yeah.
your journey these last couple of years in the media
Yeah.
side, just the grind that's going on behind the scenes that maybe people don't see.
For sure. I mean, I don't think it's really any question that when people at least like see me or know me and they see my work, they always say like, God, you're always grinding, you're always doing something new, you're always, and it's yes, it is absolutely a grind, but I really don't know if people understand what the grind takes for it to even get to the point of showing and displaying to everyone what that grind even is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like All In Golf was a year and a half in the making behind the scenes. A lot of tears, a lot of, can I afford this? Does this make sense? Do I believe in myself this much that people are actually going to buy my clothes and yes, golf is growing, but in the grand scheme of things, it's still a niche market. Like women's golf
Yep.
apparel is still very niche. And I just don't know that people really understand what a day to day can look like when you're trying to create something new for yourself, because you have to constantly reinvent. Like if I
Mm-hmm.
was creating content like I was 7 years ago, I would have been done. I have a lot of girlfriends that began with me and they don't do this stuff anymore. You
You
have
can
to
only slide a driver in Topgolf so many times.
you can only do it so much before you get kicked out. Okay. Like, but yeah, you have to constantly reinvent yourself. And between the grind and reinventing yourself, I don't know if people really understand how much grit and how scary it is to always have to do that. Um, and I think the most successful creators that I've seen and or people who have made a living off of social media, what have you, are the ones that are very accepting of change. And
Mm,
I don't know that that came very natural to me at first, but I recognize at a very early years ago that like I have to be okay with changes. I have to be accepting that like there may not be a tomorrow. Like social media can disappear, so what are you going to do now? Or this contractual deal, it's going to end December, so what now? What are you going to
mm,
do different to keep you alive? And that's unfortunately a lot of the mindset. And I just don't know that people really understand or see it. I think there are still people who think like, oh, it's just, you just post a cute video, you move on with your life. And I'm like, bruh, like,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
it is so much harder than that. Like if you thought it was that easy, I wouldn't have an editor, I wouldn't have an agent, I wouldn't have a team. Like, yes, it's fun, but man, there are many, many days where I'm like trying to meet deadlines. I'm getting sick because I'm on a 3-week travel bender. I
Mm,
haven't seen my family or my fiance. Like, like, or personal life may not be the most, the most perfect, and then I have to go be this persona. It's hard. There is a lot of
mm-hmm.
nuances to this. I always say it's really unique because having a following, it's a weird place because you're not a celebrity, right? Well, some like to act like them, and I don't agree
Mm-hmm.
with it, but you're not
Speak.
that. And you shouldn't act like egotistical like that, but you are this person that essentially, in my case, 500,000 people think that you're their friend and you don't know them. That's the difference, is that they follow you because they feel like you're their friend.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a very just unique place to be when even though I am everyone's friend and I love that I am who I am, but like I have hard days. I am so not perfect. I will bawl and break down. Many days I don't believe in myself. Many days I'm not, like there are times I'm going through family drama, but no one's going to know because I got to sit here and smile for a freaking ad. And it's just the reality, like there's a lot, I can go on and on actually, but there's just so much to it that people don't see. So I appreciate when I get those DMs that are like, yo, you are killing it. Like you're doing such a good job. Like I get the grind. I can only imagine. And when people feel that through the screen, it makes me feel very seen.
Mm-hmm. So what do you do or resort to when you're like in those stir crazy moments? Is it dancing, or is there anything outside of that
Yeah,
that's
I
like
mean,
your go-to?
a lot of times, yeah, it has to be. It's sometimes like my fiance will literally tell me like, you just need to like go dance or something. Like just go find a
Yeah.
TikTok you like and just to go learn it. Like you don't even need to film it, just do it. Yeah, I mean, I'm a very family oriented person, and I very much rely, or I wouldn't say rely, I just lean on the people that are close to me in my life that I knew before this lifestyle to kind of
Mm.
just keep me grounded. Because there's a lot of times like, and I'll talk to other like, creators and personalities and broadcasters, and we're all just breaking down behind the scenes. We're all just trading traumas at this point. Like
Yeah.
it's not easy, but I think it becomes easier when you have a support system that's there to be like, all right, you cried this out, you got this, pat you on the back, all right, like keep going, you're doing great. And that's really, I think, all we need.
Mm-hmm. No, I would say like as the older I've gotten, the reality like nobody really knows what they're doing. Everybody's just kind of trying to figure it out. Some
So true.
people
Yeah.
put on a front that they look like they know what they're doing, but again,
Yeah.
everybody is just learning. And like you said, you're going through so many different levels of change. You have to also pick up and understand like different skill sets throughout the way. Like, what do you think has been the hardest thing that you've personally learned, skill set wise, just to help with how you operate in the space, whether it's like editing or photography or
Yeah.
even public speaking is like a learned skill set too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Gosh, public speaking is the number one fear in like the world.
Mm-hmm.
I actually love speaking. I mean, I was a communications major, broadcast journalist. I thought I was going to be a broadcaster for a while, and I did that for a hot second before coming into this. But I think, honestly, I think one of the hardest things that I've had to learn, and I think I had a good natural knack for it, but you have to always sharpen your knife, is honestly like leadership skills.
Mm.
And I don't know that that's like looked upon enough. Like the bigger you get, the more people you're taking care of, the more people you're in charge of. Like I have an agent, I now have a team, I have an all-in golf team, I have people to take care of. There are a lot of people in my life that look to me for an answer. And when you're not okay, how are you going to speak? When you're not
Mm-hmm.
okay, are you going to displace your feelings? Are you going to expect someone else to carry you, or are you going to be the person that you sought yourself out to be, that's why they're looking at you, and I think that that's a very underrated skill that people don't realize. Like look at like the good team, right? They're not just a group of boys. They're a huge entity. They're a company. They're a
Mm-hmm.
corporation. Look at Bob Does Sports. Look at all of that. Like whoever's running the show, you need to be a leader worth watching or following. Otherwise, whatever you have is going to crumble. And
Mm-hmm.
I have always, I've been very accepting of change. And I've learned to edit better. I learned to use Canva. I learned to make decks. I learned to speak better. I learned to podcast. Podcasting is different than normal speaking. Being a panelist is different than a 30-minute public speaking session. Like I was a physical trainer. I was a trainer for Fitbit. That was really freaking hard. But all in the end of the day, it's just like me talking my way through things. And I did that, but I don't think anything is harder than when other people are relying on you and
Mm-hmm.
they're looking to you.
That I think from where I sit and just like digesting your content through a tiny little phone a lot. I think the
Yeah.
thing that
Yeah.
really stood out to me is like your ability to adapt. You just look supernatural in all the different spaces that you've been. And then I think
Thank
like the
you.
cherry on top is then the brand that comes out of it. So it's
Hmm.
like you have all these really interesting life's experiences. And then
Yeah.
maybe that's where we step into the All In Golf brand.
Yeah.
Like, was there an initial moment that stirred the idea? Like, I think I can do this. Like, when
Hmm.
did it go from I think I can do this to I want to do this?
Like when it comes to the brand.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of 2023, I walked away from Cobra Puma.
Mm-hmm.
And for those who followed me know that I was with them for 7 years. Like
Yep.
I was embedded into the family. Like I was like their social media Lexi Thompson. And
Mm-hmm.
everyone, I mean, I still get messages saying like, hey, where's your Puma gear? I'm like, it's been a couple of years.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's how embedded I was. And at the end of that term, I had always wanted to create something of myself, of my own. Like I was already stirring up a pot in my brain up until the end of 2023 of like, look at all these brands that pay me to promote their stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look how much influence I quote unquote have. What if I had something that I mean, not that I don't believe in the brands I've worked with, I do, but what if I had something that I created that really felt like my baby and that was mine? And it came in many different forms. Like at first, I thought I was going to create like a luggage brand. I thought I was going to create a
Mm-hmm.
travel gear brand or workout gear or what have you. And I just knew that I wanted to do something that could become greater than me and greater than my name. And it just so happened when I walked away from Cobra Puma, and they did tell me like that they were hoping to kind of create some collaboration with me. So that was
Mm.
also how things started stirring. When I walked away, I had a deal on the table with Bad Birdies. And I was so close to signing in 2024. And I love that team. I love Jason. And I worked with them way back when. And what was so cute was that Jason from Bad Birdies, he hired me way back when I was in a gap year with Cobra for a photo shoot. And he said, 1 year, one day, I will bring you on. And
Mm.
then he serves me a deck in 2024, and in the deck it goes full circle moment, first photo with me, and full circle moment pitching to have me for an
Oh, that's sweet.
actual real a real term. And that felt so real. I felt so connected. I felt so aligned. I'm like, this is what I stand for. I want to be with a family. I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
be with, just put a Nike thing on me and then here we go, like I
Yeah.
wanted that. And they were going to create me a line. And then at the end, like it wasn't actually going to be my line. It was just going to be my name, but they were going to own the
Mm.
rights to everything that's me. And I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't going to be okay with that. And I, I get it. I get it. Like that's a totally amazing move for many ambassadors, especially if you want to create something that's yours, but you don't want to have to create it yourself.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wanted to really create something myself. And so between those two instances that all fell around the end of 2023, I was like, let's just fucking do this. Like, like, let's go. And then,
Let's go on. Yeah.
yeah, let's go all in. And when I did it, I think the only reason why I'm here today and have gotten this far is because I was naive. And
Mm.
because I was naive mixed with resilience. Like every challenge, I can't even tell you how difficult, even just trademarking the name and getting my logo. I'm like, am I going to get sued by everybody? Like, what's the deal? And I had been sued before for something I tried to do in past. And it's a very scary process, but the most fulfilling. And so it came into fruition as golf clothes. And I think at the very end of the day, it's what my expertise is. I've been in it my whole life. I wear it every single day. I understand what's been missing for a very long time. Am I maybe the most fashionable? Did I go to fashion school? No, I didn't. But I can bring people onto my team that can help me with a fashion sense, and I can bring in my professional abilities to explain what's been missing in women's gear and allow women to be seen. And I think those combined can really make a difference. And so now we're here.
Whew, that was a speech. The hair on my neck standing up. So to that point, because I think it's really interesting. Clothing is super hard, and again, I
It
think
is.
people have no idea what
No.
goes into, especially with like an apparel brand.
Yeah.
Just all the little intricacies that happen to take fold. Who you are and like what you've done. Were you pretty close to product behind the scenes when it came to like not just styling yourself, but just like understanding where product came from, why things are cut the way they're cut, the materials, the blends, the color? Like,
Mm-hmm.
did you show an interest in those early days too?
No. To be honest,
Yeah.
no. I think like what I took an interest in was, back then when I was already like walking away from the brands and I'm like, what can I do that's different? Because I knew that if I was going to do something, it has to be different. And
Hmm.
besides having my own flair. And I was like, well, I just think that I've seen these kinds of adjustments on other clothes. They just haven't been brought into golf, such as being able to shorten and lengthen a dress or a skirt. Well, I have pieces of clothes that are normal lifestyle that I do that. Why can't I do that in golf? Or like a padded sports bra, if I extended that, why can't I just do that in golf? So that was kind of where my head was at. It wasn't even about like textures and color palettes and Pantones and all these books of different, materials. That was all very new to me. Like when I first went to the
Mm.
factory and they opened the book and they're like, all right, what do you want? And I'm like, uh um well, let me go get my closet and I'm going to lay it down and I'm going to show you what I like. And they're like, okay, so this is going to be X% polyester mixed with this and viscose, and then this is, and I'm like, okay, all right, yeah, learning. Like it was all
Yep.
very much a learning experience as I went. Like my intention was to create something functional and something adjustable, and that was where we began. And then we said, okay, what color do we want to lean on? And then I knew I wanted to start off with a very strong and bright color. And red is my favorite color, but it's too brash. Like it's not
Hmm.
something you can wear often. And that's how we eventually landed with terracotta. I didn't want to launch with the brand colors yet because I have a collection in mind for that, it being maroon. And I really just learned as I went. Like
Yep.
now, even like when I talk to people and I talk about factories and what it's like working overseas and wholesale and all this and all these different materials, people are like, holy shit, like you're speaking a completely different language. And I'm like,
Yep.
yeah, bro, I am. Like it's so different. Like you can even see behind me, I have like all the collections here of drafts and mistakes and the intentions of my collections to come. And it really has just been learning as I go, but also very much falling in love with the process. Like
Hmm.
I didn't know about all the nuances and all the little things and the cuts and sews that are required to do what I wanted to do, but I very much enjoyed it, and it really makes it very individual. Like it makes my brand mine because no one literally has my silhouette. It's quite literally cut and sewn
Hmm.
together. Like it's not a copy and paste, I could tell you that.
Hmm. That's awesome. Was there any like, because all brands go through it, especially as new as are, is there any like specific growing pains or any
Oh,
hurdles that you
tons.
hit that necessarily didn't break you, but you're like,
Yeah.
how are we going to get through this?
Yeah, gosh, man, there's tons. There's tons. I mean, when it comes to the legal side of things, it's really not fun. And it's kind of just like when you buy your first home and you're suddenly like signing all these papers and you have no idea what's going on. You're just like, just give me the home. I'm like, okay, but
You
they're
have to
like,
just trust.
you now lost all your money. You just signed a bunch of papers. And I feel like that's what going through legal is like. I'm like, I'm sorry, I had to pay how much
Yep.
to own it's my physical name. It's my name. Like
Yeah.
I don't understand. And that part alone was already very challenging. And that's step one. But I think like there's been a ton. I mean, even finding the right team members, right? Like I did have a member on the team that I brought on and I really, really trusted. And come to find it just wasn't a good fit in the end. And I
Mm.
could sit and sulk and think about how much money I spent, how many promises that were made, and all that, but what good is that going to do? Because in my mind I was really sitting and sulking thinking like, man, like that money could have gone to another collection, it could have gone towards a different material, it could have gone towards a different color. Like look at what we're sitting on the same stuff. Like, and I just learned that like the faster you are able to adapt and move on and do it with swiftness, like you're still going to be ahead of the curve. And like
Hmm.
things don't need to be perfect. They don't, because I can tell you all the mistakes I had in this first run. I can literally put it on a model and look at it and say, these are all the mistakes that make me so unhappy. But we did it. And,
Hmm.
we hit 5 figures in sales in a matter of a couple days. And that to me
Wow.
was like such a big win, like such a big win. I can get that deal through a social media gig anywhere. But that to
Hmm.
me was like the most fulfilling thing. It made all the difficulties worth it. But I mean, I don't think there's ever really going to be a month where there's not something hard happening to be honest.
Always.
Like I literally just got a call from he's my tech designer, and he goes, well, yeah, the factory said they discontinued that color, so we can't have that. I'm like, oh, sick. We're only launching in like 2-3 weeks. Like, love that news for me. But you just kind of are like, you almost kind of had to like laugh it off at some point and just say, okay, so what's the solve? What are we going to do now? Because I could have sat and given up many, many no's ago, but you know, I'm still here.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to what you said, like your leadership qualities and just like learning and adapting, being able to make decisions is really important, because especially when it comes to taking things too far, that's where people either get burnt out or it kills the brand. Like, where do you think in your mind, is it just a gut where like, we've gone too far with any said decisions, like we have to make the cutoff now and make a decision? Like, is that something that you felt like you've had naturally?
Yeah, I actually do think that I've had that naturally. And I feel like some of the, honestly, like the best creatives in general are the ones that just have this like natural ability to see where trends are going, when trends are going to end, and what's going to kind of like pop off next. And they just have a good gut check on like whatever their niche is. And I feel like I've kind of always had that. I think that's like probably why I've ever even had anything go viral amongst my pieces of content. But yeah, I think that it's actually one of the best survival tools that you can have as an entrepreneur is to trust your gut. And what's so funny is that when I bring up that team member that I'm telling you about, and this is the first time I'm ever even saying this, and the struggles that came with having this person on and then letting this person go, like I actually didn't trust my gut when I first was going through it. I just believed in the accolades. I thought, okay, this is what was said can be done and do. I need this because it's not within my ability and my bandwidth, X, Y, and Z. But there was always something in my gut for almost a year telling me, I don't know that this is right, but I kept trying to convince myself otherwise. And in the end, the gut was right, and I should have just went with that, because that was always my operating method this whole time. I don't know why I changed, but yes, like very much a necessity and very much something I think every entrepreneur needs.
That's wild. Yeah, because you've developed your taste over years and years of, again, just being in a bunch of different spaces and places and learning and having conversations. It just comes down to your unique taste, which I think even speaks to, you said a little bit earlier, but the terracotta color pack that you had. Super unique. This is like, because I've been to a lot of different golf tournaments over the years, and one of the things that I always try to do is sneak into the actual like tournaments pro shop, not the big merchandising tent. Because I'm really curious of what they specifically carry.
Sure.
And the men's and women's stuff is always just kind of all over the place, but women specifically, it still feels like it's stuck in like 2015, 2016 in terms of color, like a lot of neon pinks and greens and blues. And I'm always wondering, because I never see it out in the wild. I'm like, who is wearing this stuff and what are the buyers thinking? And I think it might have been on the All In Instagram, but a small little mood board of how the terracotta color came to life. Was that something more like inspirational, aspirational, or was there things that like you kind of picked up along the way throughout the process of actually building the brand? Where you're like, that color makes a lot of sense for what we're trying to build here?
Yeah, I think it was actually kind of like a combination of both. Like, because the intention actually was to launch more like a crimson, and it was more just like a color I chose, not because it's within, the fashion season colors, because we're looking at that. Like, I look at what is like the most predicted color of the year and things like that, like normal fashion trends. Like, I don't know that actual golf brands look at that, which is step one.
No, they don't. I know that's a fact.
You should probably do that. Like, maybe let's like step away from navy. Like, we're gonna live. Like, it's okay. Like, we're gonna live without navy. It's fine. So one, I really wanted to launch with a color that was just so different than what women's golf had seen, or golf in general had been seen, and it was gonna be crimson. And then as kind of like we're coming to launch and putting pieces together and then putting mood boards together, it started to just kind of like transcend into something that isn't so brash and a little more earthy. And I think that it kind of just honestly like fell in our lap. We had a sample color come our way, And the sample color from for those that don't understand, when you get samples, they essentially dye your fabrics that you have, but you only see it in like a 1x1 or like this
Yep.
little square patch, which really it doesn't actually give you the full picture. So to me, when I was looking at it, I'm like, okay, I like this tone. I kept leaning on this tone. And when it came into fruition, when we actually saw this color in a full piece of garment, I was like, oh my God, we got to go with this color. Like this color
Mm-hmm.
makes more sense. It doesn't actually look crimson anymore. This is now terracotta. Let's roll with that. And it just so happened that as we were rolling with terracotta, we started seeing like Justin Timberlake's new golf shoe had a hint of terracotta. I started seeing hints of terracotta in mainstream fashion and like little hits in golf. And I was like, okay, we're headed in the right direction. And mine comes off actually very earthy. I think sometimes in photographs it makes it come off really bright, but you
Mm-hmm.
wear it and it's a color that you'd wear on and off the golf course, which I'm like, why is that not a thing? Like,
Mm-hmm.
who's going to wear a neon pink pullover off the golf course? Like, I
Yep.
would never, like, catch me dead. I'm changing. And so to me, I was like, what colors actually make the most sense? And when I was actually doing research on this specific palette, terracotta is actually one of the very few colors on the color wheel that actually go with any skin color. It can make any skin
Mm.
color look good. And I already knew that that color would stand out on tan skin because I'm Asian. But I
Mm-hmm.
had to make sure that this would be flattering on any skin. So we put it up against every skin color. And then when we had all the garments, we tried to put it on every size model. And that was the most important thing, is like, we can't launch something. It's okay if it's not perfect, but it has to still hit the places where I know that these women are going to be seen. Because there were many moments in my career where I didn't feel seen
Mm.
in what I was doing or what I was wearing. And so I'm like, if I'm able to accomplish a few of these ticks on my to-do list, then I'm going to do something right. And that's really how
Mm-hmm.
the terracotta collection kind of came into fruition.
I love that. It looks so good at the Creator Classic because, again,
Thank
like you're
you.
sitting in the South in Atlanta, and
Yeah.
like I think I have a picture. I'll have to send it to you, but I took a picture because your whole squad had it on.
Yeah.
And like in
Yeah.
the background, you can kind of see like
Yeah.
traditionally what's all happening from a color
Yeah.
perspective, and then the tour championship, like bright lead and everything. But it just looked really, really good because it also
Thank
looked
you.
good in social. And I think like
Yes.
we're going through this right now with my daughter. She's about to turn 11. She really wants to paint her room pink. So like
Oh
we
my
went through
gosh.
the whole wall of like
Yeah.
colors, and she's
Yeah.
picking out her colors in the paint, and it doesn't look like the little swatch she has. I was like, well, it's going to change, but you're going to like it once
Yeah.
it's on the wall. Like there's different steps and stuff that we have to take. But yeah, I mean, to see it in digital and then see it in real life, like the connection, again, it looked totally hats off to what you guys were able to do.
Oh, thank you.
That
We
quickly
very much
too. I know it
appreciate
took a
it.
year and a half, but still to see
Yeah.
it out in the wild was awesome.
Thank you. That means a lot. It's been a work in progress for sure. I'm actually like so terracotted out now. I'm like, I need to wear something different. Like it's crazy.
That's what I wanted to follow up on, because
Yeah.
I think the other thing that's really interesting is when you're working on a project and you're so close to it for so long,
Mhm.
when stuff does go live, like, are you already in your mind thinking about the next thing?
Yes.
Or do you give yourself like grace and appreciation for what you guys were able to do?
Yeah. I actually, after we launched Terracotta, because it was such an accomplishment to even become live. Like I remember
Yep.
when it happened, I was like, oh my gosh. And then, all the love and all the features and all the people, and I'm like, yes, okay. And I actually, like, even my tech designer was like, we got to start thinking about the next line. And I'm just trying to like sit in the moment. God forbid I
Breathe
want
a
to
little
just
bit.
enjoy it. But now the reason why there's such a gap between colors is because I allowed myself to breathe. And I am now understanding kind of like the traditional timing in fashion and in your brain. Like they're always thinking like 1 year ahead, 1 year to 1 year and a half ahead. Fortunately, since my collections are still so intimate, I don't have to think that far ahead. But we've already mocked up what the next 3 drops are going to be, and spring of next year, and we're talking about summer of next year. Like that's where it has to be. And it's been so mind-boggling to be like, okay, in 1 year from now, I still think that the adjustable thing is going to be great, but we need to add some different thing. We need to add a pocket. We need to do this. We need to do this. Like you really are banking and hoping that the trends that you see, and based on the affirmation and sales that you've received on pieces, are still going to thrive in the future. So
Mm-hmm.
it is, I will say it is really, that's a new adjustment. It's really hard to be in the present because you quite literally are always focusing on the next deadline. And
Yep.
that's what's so, it's really mind boggling. Like we recently had a call with the PGA Tour, which is very exciting, and we want to get clothes over there. We want to be able to have women's golf clothes in there. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's custom or whether it's our collection, or you choose a color, because we're very color story oriented, as opposed to like, blah, let's make like five colors
Yeah.
in one. Like one, that's a lot of means. It takes a lot of money to do that, which I
Mm-hmm.
commend anyone for having that much bandwidth. But also, it's like I want it to be very intimate, and so yeah, like with that, it just comes like they're like, okay, well, we need to see your summer of 2026, and I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
I think we're going baby blue. I'm not sure. Like, give me a chance to breathe. I'm finishing the next
Yeah.
5 collections we got, and I also have like impulsive things that I want to do. Like I impulsively was like, I'm going to create a Ryder Cup thing. All right, let's do it. And
Mm.
when you do manufacture in the US, you have that ability to have a bit, less timelines, but it's a little pricier that way, but you do have the ability to kind of work faster in some ways or another. But yeah, it is a challenge. It is a challenge. I am always thinking ahead.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's interesting too, because again, I think one of the reasons why like my channel or whatever started popping off is because I spent a majority of my time talking about the tastemaker brands. A lot of the
Hmm.
brands that were like just getting off of the ground floor, that were doing some really interesting things. The collections that they were putting out were at a much slower pace because
Yeah,
exactly all the points that you're alluding to of
yeah,
just there's way more intentionality behind it. And
yeah,
just like monetarily, it's very hard to have massive collections with a bunch
yeah,
of different um, colorways and sizes and whatnot. But I think when you do have moments of slow growth, the brand still feels like the original vision that you guys
yeah.
had like set out to do,
I
which I think is
agree.
the most important thing, and why you're starting to see a lot of the bigger brands react to what the tastemakers are doing because they're
Right.
working slower, they're closer to it, they have more intention around some of the collections. I think that's like the next step or evolution that you'll see happening in the golf space, where it was such a hurdle to get voices like you connected to the PGA Tour and what was
Yeah.
happening from a traditional lens. It's the same thing that's going to happen in fashion, where
Yeah.
these bigger, more traditional way of going about stuff is going to slow down and reverse in the set that they're going to start working with these tastemaker brands on their schedule. Because fast fashion is just
Right.
something that like we can't be having this conversation in 2025 anymore. Like there's
Yeah.
just too much out there. Where does it all go when it doesn't get
Right.
sold through? So again, I think that is really interesting. And I know I've talked with the tour that they're really interested in bringing in more taste maker brands to have some of
Yeah.
these more unique collections on tour, which is cool.
For sure. I mean, look at like where Malbon has come and gone, right? Like I knew Stephen and Erica 10 years ago when they just had a
Mm-hmm.
little pop-up shop, and this was just like a little passion project, and he had just like sold his magazine or what have you, and came from the skateboard world and whatnot. And look where they are now. Like I have never seen a strategy where it's like every major brand wants to collaborate with them because they're like one of the first brands to really relate to their audience in a different way, and also create exclusivity in a unique
Mm-hmm.
way. And I feel like that's only beginning to grow. Like there's like Metalwood, there is oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the name, but man, I love the way they market everything. UK brand, men's brand, I think.
Manners.
Yes, Manners. Yeah, I was blanking, but like, man, like when I look at their creative and I'm like, yeah, like hell yeah, that's it. That's it. Like when I saw their like Reebok collaboration,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, bro, hell yeah, like that's
Mm-hmm.
it. And I think like it's such a win to see like all these, tastemaker brands like be able to be touched by these bigger brands. But I really do think, as you say, it's kind of like flipping the script right now. Like they need us, because the
Mm-hmm.
reason why we created what we created is because out of passion, out of problem solving, out of relating to something that they didn't see seen before. And that's clearly
Mm-hmm.
something that these big brands are completely missing. They're like out of touch. And so I feel like their easiest solve, and I think a great solve, is to work with us.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
the volume thing is really hard to work with. I think
That
slowing
part
down is
is
really
really hard.
important
Yeah.
too,
That
which
too.
again, that checks all the bright boxes with you guys. Is
Hmm.
there um a specific piece after the sampling process that you got in your hand that you're like, this is exactly what we set out to do, that you
Yeah.
were like really proud of, regardless of like how difficult it was to make, but that
Sure.
you knew when you got it in your hand, you're like, this is it. We were able to
Y-
do it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was the all-in adjustable skirt. Like that was always what I envisioned. There's many problems in my brain that I wanted to solve, and I
Mhm.
don't want to share all the problems because then I won't be able to create it, or
No, yeah,
someone will beat me
forget.
to it. But the adjustability felt like something that's so tangible, and I knew I wanted it in a skirt. It came by surprise that it worked out in the dress. It actually makes a dress look fantastic, and it makes every girl's bum look amazing,
Mm.
which I was like, wow, this is just a plus. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And you can be sophisticated and you can add the length. Oh, praise be. Like, let's go. But the skirt was something from point A to point B. I really, really wanted it to work. Is it our biggest moneymaker? No, unfortunately. It does well, but it's not like our moving product, like our dress and whatnot. But to me, it's a piece that I feel so proud of because I wanted to I wanted to accomplish two things. And one was being able to shape a woman's body regardless of your size and your height. And
Mhm.
I was like, how are we going to do that? Okay, the adjustability. But when the adjustability happens, what happens when you cinch it all the way to someone who's 4'11", like my little sister? And what happens when you stretch it out to someone who's 5'9"? What does that look like? Like, we had to constantly play with the toggles. I've never even looked at the different little toggle thingies that you use,
Yep.
the adjustable things. There's like, here's 15 different adjustable toggles. And I'm like, what the like, this is insane. I'm like, choose the smallest one, like the least bulky. What do you want it to be tonal to the dress, or do you want it to be clear? Tonal all the way. Well, we're gonna have to dye it, and you can only purchase 3,000 of them at once. Never mind, we're going clear. Forget that. Like, it's insane how much every little thing is, down to the tag, down to your little, what is your instructions on your piece of clothing of how to wash it. I'm like, I don't know.
Yep.
Don't throw it in the dryer. The dryer ruins everything. Like, women should know this. Like,
Yeah.
but the skirt, I think, is honestly the winner. I love the way it looks on every size, every height. We made a very unique back of the back of the skirt has a very unique trim to it, where there is a slight V. It's not a very deep V. It kind of plays off of a lot of those, like, those leggings that you'll see on women where they really love where their bum is shaped. And I'm like, why
Mm.
can't we have that but still be tasteful and not be like looked at and sexualized? Well, okay, let's
Mhm.
make sure the length still meets it, and let's add that little trim. And to me, that trim really changed everything, because it really does make you feel like you have a figure. And that's what women all care about, right? They want to have a nice figure. And women's golf clothing doesn't really show you a figure. Like,
Mhm.
you're a box. And so I was like, let's create some lines that can actually make a difference, and adjustability, and we're good to go. And we were able to achieve that. And for this next collection, which we're actually launching pretty soon here, I'm very excited for the color. But we actually now created a means where you adjust, you can now actually tuck in that excess band that you have. Because sometimes
Mm.
you just leave the ties out, it looks like a summer dress. Well, when it's not summer anymore and you don't want to have that energy, what are you going to do? You want to tuck it in. Well, we have something now where you can kind of hook it under, and your little ribbon stays tucked. So your dress will still
Mhm.
look very clean and proper. And so it's just those little things, that really it just feels so fulfilling.
Mhm. Well, and you're learning and growing. Again, just going, we've said it a million times, but like through
Yeah.
the process of the sampling, it also has to work for golf too. Are you and
Yes.
like, is there like a little group that you have that is actually like testing out product in terms of sport?
Yeah, so basically, whenever I have the samples, I basically give it to all my girl golf friends. And
Mhm.
what's great about my girl golf friends is that they also get to be my models. so,
Sweet. Yeah.
so it's honestly kind of like my way of having them test it out and see the playability, see the way the sweat wicking works, see like where they feel uncomfortable and whatnot, and whatever adjustments can be made between those final samples to the final run, we'll do it. And I don't think people
Mhm.
really understand, like, how much you are working with a fire under your butt make that final stretch happen the way you want it. But yes, I have my girls work it. It does also, I think, really help that like I have a very strong golf background, and so I know what I'm looking for immediately. It's almost more so I will be the one to test it all, but then what's most important for me after that is for someone that's a different size, like an
Mm.
XL or double XL, to try it on. Do you feel secure? Can you golf in this? Like, it's making sure that everyone again just feels very seen.
Are you hands-on in that process, or are you kind of just like giving them product with the hopes that they give you critical feedback, whether it's good or positive?
Oh no, I mean, like, especially when I get to double down and have models over, like I'm very a part of it. Like I'm
Yeah.
watching them put it on. I'm asking them, where do you feel uncomfortable? What can I do
Mhm.
better for next time? Can we still get away with this right now? Because I won't run it if it's not going to get away. And that was, I think, like the most important thing, because we ran into that in the beginning. And for the most part, everyone felt like it was very comfortable, very good. Is every piece going to resonate with every size? No. Is every piece going
Mhm.
to is it going to resonate with someone who's like the traditional golfer, or someone who's like the more, comes out of work golfer? Probably not. But I hope that at the end of it, that there's at least a couple pieces in the collection, of each collection, where you feel like that really speaks to me. And I'm not going to please everyone. I understand that. But if I can have at least
Mhm.
something that relates to you in some way, then I'm doing my job right.
Mhm.
So,
No, I
yeah.
love that. And I think like the friends is really interesting too, because that's something that I notice in the content, just like familiar faces. You see that in
Hmm.
like Kith and ALD, some of the
Yeah.
bigger brands in the spaces, but having that like little moment of authority is really nice.
Yeah.
I guess if we fast forward a couple of months, you said the second collection's coming out soon. Is there
Yeah.
anything that you want to have people like pay attention to or keep their eyes on?
For sure. Well, I mean, I'm totally happy to share it. Like, our next collection, we plan on having it come out at the very end of this month, and we're currently running to the finish line, because now it means photo shoots and editing and models
Mhm.
and lifestyle and studio and running back and forth and whatnot. And this next colorway is going to be mauve. And I'm very, very
Mm.
excited about it. And it's funny because I'm learning that not a lot of people know what mauve is. And it's actually, it's in the pink family, but it actually has a hint of brown in it, and you mix it together,
Mhm.
and it gives you this really beautiful earthy tone. And I really kind of almost want it to be not like a slap in the face to these other brands, but it's like all these brands, we joke about it and they're like, oh, just throw some pink on it. And then now
Yeah.
it's meant for women. And the pink that they throw on it is just so ugly. I'm like, what is going on? So, like, what is a color pink or tone that, like, for all the girlies that love that girly pop color, great, we touch them. But what's a good earthier tone where you can genuinely wear it on and off the course? And so
Mhm.
mauve is where we sit. That's the next color coming up next. And we're very, very excited. We'll have the added adjustability in there where you can tuck in your ties and you can feel very, very sleek. We have, I think, hopefully in upcoming soon, some other long sleeve variations like mock necks and things like that. I'm very into the
Mm.
mocks. I think it's a very clean look, and we achieve all things with USGA guidelines and clothing restrictions. Like, you're not going to piss off anybody, and you can still be
Yep.
really sleek at the same time. I'm very mindful of that because I do want to be on a player someday. So everything needs to meet the mark. And yeah, just very, very excited. It's still very intimate, a lot of the same silhouettes that you see, but just a color that I'm very excited to have.
Mhm. Have you thought about any like unisex spot or pieces,
Oh, for sure.
whether it's a
For
hoodie
sure.
or anything?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I actually am in the works right now. I'm hoping to launch it before November. We have kind of like a knitwear vest that we're hoping to work on where it's
Ooh.
unisex. And I've been dreaming of this piece for a long time. Knitwear is actually very expensive, especially when you do it in the States. And so if we're able to pull it off, like, that would be game changer. Like, our Got Golf hat is really like our quote unquote unisex piece, which has been doing great, especially after we had Jason Kelsey wear it. That was amazing.
Yeah.
But I really want to have, it's funny because when I came into Allen, I was like, we are a women's golfwear brand, and that is that. And if men rock it, they're going to tell people that they're wearing a women's golfwear brand, because women wear
Yep.
men's clothes so often. And I
Yep.
still want that to be the case. Like, if I create a unisex piece, I still want my guys to be like, yo, I got this piece from All In Golf. They're actually a women's golf apparel brand, but they created this. Like, I still want to put women on the map. That's always the intention. But I've never
Mhm.
received so much feedback from men saying, like, can you just give me something? And I'm like, okay, whoa, like chill, like it's coming, but I just want it to be right. And I want it so that women can wear it too. Because the last thing women have always said in golf, like, dang, all the guys' pieces are just so cool. The guys always
Yeah.
get all the best. They always get the best shoes. They always get the best clothes. And so if I'm going to create a really sick guys' piece, you best bet that women are going to be able to wear that too.
Love that energy. That's so sick. I guess to that point with the Jason Kelmy comment, maybe this will be the last question. Is there any big win that you've had with the brand that was surprising either to you or just like the overall internal team? Where like, I can't believe we were able to
Oh
do
yeah.
that, or that person wore
Yeah.
it or whatnot?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, when we hit our first 5 figures, I think that was a really big deal because it was just affirmation that what we were doing was on the right track.
Hmm.
And especially with such an intimate collection, we really only have 8 core pieces that you're looking at, and you can only sell
Hmm.
those 8 pieces for so long. That was that. But we actually have, and I don't want to say it now, although I'm very, very excited. We have someone that's going to be wearing Alyn in the next Golf Digest edition.
Mm.
And I don't know if she's front cover. I don't know if she just has a big spotlight, but she's a very big name, a very influential person. And when I sent her a PR box and when I even got a hold of the address, like I sent a lookbook basically, and we sent the lookbook, shot in the dark, and I get a message from a very iconic like at blah blah blah.com, and I'm like, fuck. I'm like, oh shit. And it's like, hey, so and so likes your product. Can you send some over? Oh, and
Oh yeah.
she has 4 girl golf friends that she loves to always match with. Can you give them something? I said, absolutely, done, send. And then I gifted a Labubu outfit. And she goes, she loves it. She absolutely loves it. And I was like, oh my God, okay. I'm doing something right. And so it's been I've been very impatiently waiting, but it should be coming out in October. And I can confirm that she is wearing it because I got to see the BTS of the photo shoot and I unfortunately
Let's
couldn't be
go.
there. And I'm very excited. I have also sent my pieces out. I yet to see a picture, but it is in the hands of Jessica Alba and it is in the hands of Megan Thee Stallion as well. The
They're
one
big golfers
advantage,
too, especially Jessica.
Jessica, I know, my girl, she just had to get into a relationship right away. And I'm like, now she's not going to golf. Come on. And after Megan Thee Stallion posted about being on the golf course with Klay Thompson, and I've done Klay Thompson's events quite a few times. I
Hmm.
had a few people at Rock Nation that I'm mutual friends with. They got me over her team. And it's just such a unique a place to be in when you're a talent yourself, but you're chasing talent too. And
Hmm.
it's just like and you're just a starstruck. You're just so shook about it. And I got word back from Megan Thee Stallion's team saying like she's so excited. We're so excited to give it to her. I haven't seen
That's
anything yet, but
awesome.
one day when she's out with Klay Thompson and she's wearing terracotta, you will know.
You're gonna get
And I
all the
hope it,
tags, yeah.
and I will it will break the internet because she complained about she said in her video with Clay, she said, babe, this skirt is too long. Mind you, she's like 5'10", and I thought the skirt
Hmm.
was fine, but I literally I messaged her. I said, "Girl, I got the skirt for you." And then full circle, everyone like the whole internet worked together to get me her contact, and I'm just like praying to God she's gonna wear it one day. I'm like every day, I'm like, when is she gonna be on the course? So anyways, that's just a few couple of incredible people that we have, but very excited for October. You will see it, you will know it. If not, I will send it to you.
That's so dope. I love that. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Awesome. Well, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, again, huge fan, really proud of what you've been able to do.
Thank
I know a lot
you.
of like internal Skratch peeps have been talking about the brand too, so showing a ton of love. And if
Oh,
you're in, are
thank
you going
you.
to be at the Ryder Cup area?
I will. I will. I
So,
just got I actually I got a couple gigs there and I am coming out with like a limited edition Ryder Cup crew neck. So
oh,
very
nice.
excited. Yeah. We'll be
We're
there.
gonna be at the clubhouse on Friday. I'll DM you all
Okay.
the stuff if you haven't
Yeah.
seen it yet, but
Yeah.
we might be able to do something last minute just to help
Let me
out.
know.
But yeah, huge fan. The last question that I do ask
Yes.
everybody on their way out, if there is anything that is in your closet that you would never get rid of, like what's the story behind that one item? Doesn't need to be golf related, it could be golf adjacent
Oh,
too.
wow, never get rid of, huh? That's crazy. Um, hmm. Well, In my closet, it's actually not even mine, but as you can imagine, with me and my fiance, we share clothes a lot. She has like this one cardigan that I just obsess over. It's like an old school Duvin men's cardigan. It's really wacky, like colors and
Color
patterns that
popped,
don't
yeah.
make sense. Like it's like a palm tree and the crazy sun and all this. And I wear it a lot in videos, and everyone's always like, "Where'd you get that?" And for whatever reason, and she's like, "Babe, where's my cardigan?" And I'm like, It's like it's just with me, and it's just ever since we've met, like it's just my one piece that I like always take from her and always wear. And actually, we're hoping to come out with a cardigan too, come fall season. And every time I look at it, I'm like, it's gotta
It's
give
gotta
this
look like
energy,
this.
it's gotta give this vibe, but maybe not as loud, but this vibe. And so that's my piece.
Awesome. No, I love that. That's amazing. Yeah, the one piece that connects it all.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you want to shout out, say on your way out?
Gosh, I mean, I feel like we said it all. I mean, I think that's basically it. Just look out for our little Ryder Cup surprise because that's coming out before the next collection. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, very
Awesome.
excited.
Love that. Thanks again. Awesome conversation. I can't wait to actually like officially meet in person, even though
I
we've crossed
know.
paths a million times.
Literally,
It'll happen
please
in New York.
DM me, and we'll make it happen in New York because I will be there Friday, Saturday, and then I will be in actual like NYC Thursday for like a
Okay.
fan experience, and then at the Ryder Cup Friday, Saturday.
Cool. I'll be around all week. So yeah,
Okay.
I'll drop you a DM.
Okay.
Sick. Appreciate it.
Amazing. Great meeting you. I appreciate you.
You
All
too.
right. Bye.